This is Sebastian Griffin. Actually, just to show what are the messages that I sent to Benket, or I call them call her beautiful jade, because Benket means literally translate to English as beautiful jade. So she is actually my foster mother who brought me up, not my biological mother. So these are message actually intended to send to Yutong's mother. But I do not have Yutong's mother phone number, and Yutong's mother actually related to one of the army general of Myanmar. So these are the messages I sent to Yutong's mother. So I'll invest in this program, tell Yutong's mother to invest in Hong Kong first, and then transfer the knowledge and technology to Myanmar as it goes. So I think this actually Hong Kong government actually trying to create a sort of like a technology Silicon Valley, Silicon Valley in this north of Hong
for
Kong.
Hong Kong's northern metropolis.
Somewhere near the north side.
Project, which aims to revitalize Hong Kong.
But anyway, this is I'm not going to really invest as in I fully invest, but I'll definitely invest a little bit in Hong Kong. Most of the thing actually what I'm trying to show today is some of the messages I sent to Yutong's mother. Hope that they can consider my suggestions. Now, why need to invest in Hong Kong? Actually, Myanmar need to invest everywhere, especially in near Asia. My first suggestion actually to invest in Singapore, to invest in Hong Kong. This country is strategic for Myanmar because Myanmar, first of all, Myanmar currency is very volatile. So investing in this country where the currency is very stable, I think Hong Kong dollar is pegged with the US, and Singapore dollar is very resilient, very strong. So Myanmar need to invest the money, the government money or the sovereign fund in these countries. Of course, are not limited to Asia country. They can go all the way to Europe, to US, to UK. But there is one thing is the United Nations actually imposed sanctions on Myanmar because of there are these massacre happen, and most of these people that condemn Myanmar actually come from the West. So I would not suggest Myanmar to invest so much in the Western sphere or the Western country, but maybe can consider Asia country.
Hello， 我是 Sebastian Griffin 这个 message 是给那个雨桐的母亲啦 ，in particular 啦。我要跟他讲什么呢？就是我看到香港它是一个很有 prospect 的 market， 因为它的食物多数是那些 tropical fruit tropical 那个 vegetables 那些它都是进口的，所以一个好处就是我看到缅甸。Myanmar 这个地方，它可以有很多 potential in cultivate fruit， 就是我们可以种那些fruit orchard fruit orchard 是什么？就是果园不同的果园香蕉木瓜这些东西。那我是有什么打算呢？就是去香港看。香港甚至是整个中国，看他们的形势是怎么样香港为什么可以发展呢？因为香港他们是不缺钱的，就是他们可以愿意花多钱来买好的，就是 quality 的 products、quality 的食物啦 ，food and beverages F&B 的，他们 F&B 的那个 sector 是 high quality 的。你如果是看它30多%import， 它90% of the food is imported，but 30多%是从中国来，然后其他的20多%是从那个美国，所以其实是很奇怪的，因为香港离美国其实是很远的，为什么他会出这样多的价钱去跟美国买呢？而且美国的食物也是不会便宜，所以是再加上那个运输成本是很贵的所以我可以看到一个 prospect 就是他们其实是很愿意的花高的钱来买，甚至是你看他的日本Japan 也是一个 那个很 high percentage import 的那个国家，就是证明了什么呢？证明了香港人的消费能力很高，所以我们可以去看它什么水果在那个香港他们是喜欢 import 喜欢吃什么水果的，我们就可以去，尤其是那些 tropical 的水果，还有那些香料spice 好像黑胡椒cardamom anista 这些，如果是可以的话，我们在缅甸种植，然后运输就是销售去给香港，销售去给那些 target 香港 target 日本、韩国还有中国 ，of course 这些高消费的国家上海北京这些，他们都是消费能力比较高，甚至是新加坡新加坡也是 import， 但是新加坡它是多数跟那个马来西亚它 import from Malaysia， 但是香港你看香港的 profile， 它的 import 的 profile 尤其是在 F&B它是高端的，它是import from Europe 啊，import from Europe，import from US， 这些就是比较贵的那个产品，他们是付得起的，所以只要他们付得起，我们可以种植一些比较高等的比较高等的那个就是concentrate 比较高的 quality 的那些水果啊、蔬菜那些都 export 去给香港这个是我可以觉得 process 小过后然后 export 去给香港这个是我觉得，当然是茶啊、咖啡那些也是可以做的tea 啊、coffee 啊这些东西这个是 food and beverages 这个是其中一个了那个 heavy industry 那些呢，我就会迟一点等到我们面对面了我们再讲那些 industry agriculture 是可以了 agriculture 是没有什么竞争的，人家是不会因为 agriculture 来跟你打仗那些，所以它是可以讲但是 industrial 的那个东西就比较 sensitive industrial 或者是 service sector 或者是金融finance 这些 logistics 这些呢就要大家坐下来了才沟通比较方便因为有些东西就是比较敏感，人家听到人家别的国家的听到就不爽所以这些东西我们就坐下来谈。但是 food and beverages 就是关于到 agriculture 的，我们就可以可以比较公开的来谈这些东西了。target 一些 market， 甚至是 Europe market Europe 他们是不能生产那些香料的，好像那个胡椒这些他们是没有本事生产，因为他们的天气、他们的 climate， 他们是 seasonal country， 他们是不能没有这个他们的 climate 是没有办法种植那个胡椒的胡椒那些香料的东西他们是种植不了的，所以种植不了不用紧，但是他们的食物你看西餐里面cocoa 就是那 chocolate chocolate 好像那个 Belgium 是最出名 chocolate Belgium 瑞士的呢，但是 cacao 他们不是在他们的国家生产的，是在 tropical 国家，Jamaica Africa 或者是这些热带雨林 Amazon 这些南美洲这些或者是这边的生产的，所以我们可以种植这些给欧洲的 market， 因为他们需要这些是供不应求的 cacao 那个black paper white paper 这些茶tea 这些。他们都是需要的当然茶是在那些冬天他们也是可以种植茶了，但是那些热带的我们就 advantage 就是热带的像 palm oil 这些也是那个 palm oil plantation 这些我们也是可以做很多东西可以做这些我们坐下来慢慢谈，看有什么行业，然后我们可以 train 一些人开一些 vocational school train 一些人 train 那些人民来种植这些东西来赚钱这个是我觉得啦，然后 industry 的最好是坐下来谈一谈当然了，尽快帮我拿 passport 搞定了 passport。我们就开始做生意，赚钱最重要所以请你马上来这边跟我沟通一下，可以吗？谢谢。
So this is a message I sent to Yutong's mother, and this is actually non-edible crops those are crops that actually meant for construction industry, for fiber, for pharmaceutical, for this renewable energy this biopolymer. So what are the plants actually these are algae hemp, wheat, linseed, or the flaxseed. But linseed is actually grow in seasonal seasonal climate. Bamboo is possible, and then cotton, flax is cannot hemp is possible, and some of this tobacco, rubber, all these are tropical, can grow in the tropical climate. So these are the things that we can target, and then we can industrialize it, use for industrial purposes, making of paper and all that, or drugs. So these are the crops Myanmar can focus on the pathway to industrialization, because all these are raw material for process into products. For example, cotton can be produced, those fabric, the textile industry, for clothing, for towel, for socks, all sort of things are now made of cotton. So these are the example that I actually suggest to Yutong's mother. So as of now, Myanmar, the self-sufficiency in rice productions. Now, rice production, why rice production is important? Because it is a rudimentary food for Myanmar or for Asia people at large. That means the main food for the Asian people actually rice. But the food self-sufficiency is only 57.6%. That means in terms of rice, the main food, the rudimentary food for Myanmar is only 57.6%. That means 40%, around 42% are imported. So 42% imported, when you look at Myanmar, 54.5 million population, and every year the rice demand is actually 315 kg per capita per year. That means every person in Myanmar consume around 315 kg of rice per year. So if you times if you take this time 54.5 million population, that is a huge amount, and out of that 42% is imported, then you know the price. So to make sure Myanmar has 100% food self-sufficiency first, at least rudimentary food such as rice, because they have to eat rice, and then if possible, then vegetable, pork and eggs, and chicken of course, and soybean. A lot of products in actually in Asia are made of soybean. For example, the soya sauce is made of soy. The tofu is also made of soy, and then Indonesia they even have tempeh. So in Myanmar they also have a lot of products, or a lot of food they actually made of soy. Tofu is one of them, and then also corn. Corn is because you need corn to produce the food, actually food for chickens and all that. So corn will be also very important, and of course in a tropical climate they can produce sugarcane. So sugarcane, palm oil and all that is also very important. Palm oil can use for food and also pharmaceutical, and also a lot of usage for actually derived from the palm oil. Now I also translate my English message to Myanmar, so that these are Burmese language, so easier for them to read. So Myanmar has one of the lowest electricity access rate in Southeast Asia. National grid coverage estimated around 60%. Now I'm also talking about other things such as basic infrastructure. Electricity is one of the main basic infrastructure that Myanmar need to focus, because right now only 60%. Myanmar need to achieve 100%. So there's a NEP. Now the NEP in Myanmar called National Electrification Plan aim for 100% access by the year of 2030. So well, you have to look at what are the things. Now the main thing is the financial constraint. Financial constraint is the main challenge for this infrastructure development. Say power generation heavily rely on natural gas and all that, but luckily Myanmar produce their own natural gas, so a natural gas plant for this electricity generation is actually good for Myanmar. So I am actually also talking the basic infrastructure such as electricity coverage, potable water means clean water supply, and sewage treatment means from toilet to the waterways have to be treated first, and then radio tower, so that radio and TV. Radio tower means including the TV receptions, so they need to build a radio tower in Yangon. In fact, in each of the cities, but in Yangon first, because most of the people are living in Yangon. So the radio station or the TV station have to be built. And of course, broadband nowadays are using fiber optic and postage service. Phone networks have to be fully covered in Myanmar, and make sure full coverage in transportation such as highway. So highway have to be made available throughout the entire Myanmar, or connect all the cities. And of course, the street is actually by the local government, and fly, ferry, railway and all that, and metro for each city. Make sure connectivity between city and town is good, is in good condition and sufficient, and then the business will come. So give me a passport first. I will need to make a proposal to Yutong's grandfather, and the priority is to have full coverage for public infrastructure and food self-sufficiency. Then think of industrialization. All this must be done in considering bringing up Myanmar people educations and financial level, so that they can benefit from the economy growth. So I'm also comparing Myanmar with others countries. Now this is doctor per 10,000 people. Doctor per 10,000 people, we look at Myanmar. These are the top country. I thought surprisingly Cuba have the highest doctors per populations. Then followed by Monaco, Sweden, Belgium, Greece and all that. Blah blah blah. And then we see these are the top 32. The top 32, and then Mongolia, Russia, Seychelles, Israel, blah 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 blah. And then where is Myanmar? Where is Myanmar stand? So Myanmar actually stand at 132. 132 over I think 195 countries. So actually Myanmar is actually at the bottom of the when come to doctor per 10,000 populations, doctor per population rate. Myanmar only got 7.59. So that is not so many. 7.59 over 10,000 populations. So that is a burden for the doctors. So Myanmar is on the number 132 worldwide. So only 7.5 doctors per 10,000. So that's now HWO minimum requirement is 1 to 1,000. So there's a lot Myanmar need to improve on. Weight is 10,000, so it's 7.509. Let's do a math. 10,000 divided 7.509. So it's 1,331. So it's every doctor in Myanmar actually serving 1,000 over people. So it still need to push up the doctors number in order to achieve 1 to 1,000 ratio, and that is the minimum. So meaning Myanmar need to focus on building medical school or sending Myanmar students to study medicine overseas. So this is my suggestions. Actually, what Myanmar need to do is to build more medical school, or train the people, or allow that means expand the existing medical school in Myanmar, or alternatively send the students to overseas, study overseas, in order to have more doctor. This is a compound interest, or this COVID. So this is engineering. Now engineering sector consists about 3.7% or 7 million employee a company. So these are the normal growth rate. I think this is we're talking about normal growth for engineering, because it's not only doctors. I'm also focusing on the other professions such as engineer, around 4%. So Myanmar need to have at least 4% of the workforce consists of engineers. So the public the public sector, of course, I also suggest to increase transparency to receive feedback from public, so the public sector can improve accordingly. So what I'm trying to say is we can come up with some apps and website available for the public to give feedback and also to make suggestions on what they want. Of course, it's sector by sector. It's not very general. It's sector by sector, and of course, the government not necessarily have to take their suggestion or their feedback. But with the data, if there's a feedback, if there's a data, the government can make a more informed decisions. They know what the peoples want, and it is more democratic. So do not be afraid to receive complaint from the public. Always listen to people's need, and establish a center to handle online complaints and channel to the right agency. Also make sure emergency service such as police, fire department, civil department, ambulance, coast guard, forest rangers, all these are on par with basic standard. Now these are actually two separate things. One, on the top, the suggestion is all kind of suggestions, not only limited to police and all that, not limited to immediate emergency services, but also they can give suggestions regarding how they want what they want from the government. Say they want more stadium or more sport facilities in their area, and then they need to specify where they come from, where they live, what kind of facilities they want in their area, and what are the reasons. And then we'll see what we can do. And then also make sure there are enough welfare centers such as orphanage, children's care, childcare center, kidney dialysis center, job matching center, and social works, and animal rescue center, and all that. So these are more like a welfare centers. I believe a developing country, they also need to focus, need to be inclusive enough, so that nobody is left out throughout the development. Of course, anti-corruption agency must also step in Myanmar, because it's a poor country. The public official is second to corruption. So the first agency that must make sure free from corruption is anti-corruption agency. Anti-corruption agency must be free from corruptions, then only they can do their work to curb corruptions. And I hope that Myanmar can stop all casinos, vice activities such as prostitution, brothel, drug smuggling, trafficking, online scam center, and all that, which is very prevalent, very prolific in Myanmar, especially the northern region. So Myanmar might consider establishing a red light district such as those in Geylang. Singapore Geylang is actually a licensed red light district. But I would not encourage Myanmar to do so. A legal red light district is under government control. Police will monitor and the medical checkup records and who goes for the prostitute. This can reduce the crime rate associated with it at the same time, and can increase tax revenue for the country, but it is not a good economy. Now, of course, I do not encourage Myanmar to give license for brothel, but if it is uncontrollable, then a licensed red light district might actually not only curb illegal brothel, but also can create some revenue for the government. But it is actually not a good economy. But if it is implemented properly, like what happened in Singapore, then probably it could reduce the crime rate associated with their illegal prostitutions. So stop all forms of casino, whether it's physical or online, because there are online casino happening in Myanmar. And of course, the physical casino is very prolific. Everywhere when I was in Mesot, there were casino there nearby the Myawaddy area. And of course, in the northern Myanmar, there's a lot of casino, which I do not think is beneficial to the government. They're not paying tax, they're not paying levy like in Singapore, in Malaysia, or elsewhere in the world. This casino actually operate independently. I do not think they're paying any levy or any tax. They're not actually contributing to the government fund. So invite professionals such as doctors, engineers, architects from overseas as mentor for local people. Now, because these professionals actually, they after they graduate, they need at least 2 to 5 years as an apprentice or internship, because before they can actually practice their profession. A doctor, I think, is 2 years. Architect and engineer also 2 years. They need to be under some professionals, licensed professional, as an apprentice or as an internship, to take up some internship for 2 years. So the best is to invite overseas those qualified professionals, then use them to train the locals, so that they are not only they acquire the knowledge, but they also know how to practice a very professional their professions professionally. So invite traveler. Now invite traveler not only can contribute to the economy, but those traveler with TELSO, they can teach English in Myanmar, so that the school in Myanmar have a very standard English. And make sure young people have enough nutrition. Malnutrition during childhood will have a lot of complications during adults, and this will have a lot of health issues and thus medical costs and financial burden. So this will also lower down country productivity and affect the economy. So make sure people are not malnutritious. Malnutritious in the later life, they will come with a lot of problem, illnesses, and all that. So it is cheaper, much cheaper to take care of the people during the childhood than spend a lot of money to resolve those medical, those health issues during their later age. So look at the entire cost and the life cycle, not just the in front, not just what in front. And I also suggest to Yitong's mother to clear all the slum area in Yangon now. It is cheaper to do so now than when it is developed, because the land prices now is still cheap. So it is better to do it now. My suggestion is actually to clear all the slum area and to find which are the area with those slum areas. Some of the slum areas, they probably have somebody really own the land. Now for those who own the land, then the government might consider to compensate them according to the land value and also the property value when evict them. So actually I want the city mayor to find out which land has owner and which do not have. Then if they have a landowner and the landowner actually pay the land tax, then we need to compensate the landowner according to the land cost, the land price during the evictions. So it is a good city. A good city must not have slum. Clear all the slum area and start by 10 km radius from the city center and expand 20 km, 30 km. So these are the suggestions I suggest to the city mayor. Now the thing here is that it can be economical. The economical way to do it is, say for example, if a plot of land, say there is a 300 acres of slum area, 300 acres. We can clear the entire 300 acres of land, and then we can build high-rise, because most of these slum area, they are not more than 2-story. Most of them are only 1-story. So those 1-story, 2-story residential house, those slum area, we can clear the area. We can build a high-rise building consists of, say for example, 17 floor, 18 floor. So this 300 acre, probably we can just allocate 1 or 2 acres, just probably 3 acres. 3 acres, that means 1% from the 300 acres. 3 acres is enough to accommodate the entire slum area. If we build high-rise, say for example 20-story of public housing, to compensate those landowner which have the title, which actually brought the land and pay the tax, and then we can clear the land. So the rest of the remaining 270 acres, we can sell it to private real estate property developer to develop condominium, develop landed property, or develop whatever property. That will be revenue to the government, because this land actually belong to the government. And if the slum area, those live in the slum, they do not own the land, they occupy the area, especially in the city center, it is actually an opportunity cost for the government. So government have the right to evict them, and then probably is either to compensate them with a new building, which is build a public housing consists of 20-story, and then let them occupy a new area, or allocate another plot of land outside the city, outskirts of the city, which is cheaper in comparison with the city center, and then build a 5-story, maybe 5-story public housing for them. So these are the things that I can think of. So the land actually important. The land, we can use the land to build other things, and clear out the slum area. Because slum area, not only there is issues on electricity theft. Electricity theft means they're actually stealing the municipal electricity line. They're stealing water. This water pipeline from the main pipeline. There's a lot of issues. They call it a non-revenue water. Means those are people who actually stealing the water from the government, from this municipal main line. So to clear off the slum area, not only can develop the land into a proper housing, or commercial property, but also can make sure in general, the incident of electricity theft, the incident of this water theft is reduced, and also pest control, because of vermin control, to control the rodent, control cockroaches, all that can be done if all this slum area is cleared. A slum area will normally they do not have a proper pest control and also sanitation problem. So not only clear the land, allowed for the city to have to pay for a proper sanitation, means sewage treatment. Not only say sanitation, make sure electricity, proper electricity grid line is provided and not being stolen. Water line also properly provided, not being stolen, and then also people life in the health as a whole in general is much better if do not have pests, those are vermin. And also to have a proper sorting and recycling center to treat the municipal waste. We're talking about solid waste, whether it is a waste to energy or to sort out. First, I believe first is to gather all the municipal solid waste, and then to sort it according to their types, whether it's a plastic, glass, aluminium, steel, or whatever. So after sorting, then those general waste that cannot be recycled can use to probably what I can suggest is to, like Japan or many other countries, can use waste to energy treatment. That means not treatment but waste to energy plant. That means to burn the rubbish, the garbage, and then convert the garbage into energy, and then that will provide the city, that will contribute to the city power grid, to produce electricity. And then of course for those other sort of waste like plastic, glass, aluminium, steel, all this can be recycled, and the government should sit down and talk to private property, private entity, talk to private company, from overseas, whether they are interested to invest in Myanmar for recycling glass, recycling aluminium, recycling steel. They can go to China, go to Taiwan, go to Japan to look for business owner that already have this experience. Ask them to come to Myanmar and do recycling, and so this will give jobs and business to local people and provide them accommodation, school for their children, and let them recycle municipal waste. A city must be clean and green. So I also urge Myanmar government to invite professional NGO in a specific field in order to address this issue, energy and power sector, waste and sewage sector, that means the sanitations, water and sewage treatment, it always come together. And then communication means those are broadband and all that, internet. And of course Myanmar have a lot of forests, so silviculture, biodiversity preservation, all this, and healthcare sector, how to better improve Myanmar healthcare sector, how to provide adequate this whether it's a polyclinic to the local people, rural area, or to how to provide enough healthcare for the people in the city as well. And also green transportation, education for primary school and secondary school, and then of course tertiary and postgraduate. And also, of course Myanmar is an agriculture country. They need to focus on agriculture and industry and financial industry. Financial industry, because Myanmar this kyat, Myanmar is using kyat. Kyat is their currency. It's rather very weak. I believe it's one of the weakest in ASEAN, in the world. So they need to actually ask the industry, the NGO, or the NGO means non-government or non-governmental organizations, to come out and then to talk about it, how to make Myanmar kyat more resilient, more stable. And so I have a meeting with them and talk to them to plan. And their feedback, their suggestions are not compulsory. That my suggestion is to get the feedback, to listen to them, to know what they think of. Probably the government also can provide them some statistics. First is to provide this NGO some statistics, provide this some NGO what is the visions and what is the missions of the government to achieve. Say for example, just now the energy sector, government aim to achieve 100% coverage by the year 2030. So ask the private or the NGO, probably there are some NGO in Myanmar or even elsewhere, what they want, how to achieve this challenge. There are financial challenge in order to make Myanmar have 100% coverage in electricity. Ask the NGO what they think of, what is the feedback. They can always feedback to the government, so what the government can do, because they are the private sector. They probably consist of the people from the private sector, from the business sector. They know, probably they know something that government do not know, or some technical things that they know that the government do not know. So they can provide the feedback. We not necessarily the government have to take the feedback, but we can use their suggestions. Use their suggestions to do planning. So have a meeting with them and let them plan for the country, what they envision Myanmar in this sector and what they expect. So, and also attend international event. I also urge the government to attend international event and seminars to know what happened outside Myanmar, and not just live inside Myanmar and do not know what happened. What is the trend? The trend in energy sector. Now they got smart grid. They got smart grid in many countries, and what sort of system they are using. What is trendy in the world now. So actually, I used to represent MGBC, which is Malaysia Green Building Confederations, to many events, seminars, and meetings with government and international NGO. So that's why I'm familiar with all this, and also, of course, these are the trend economy. Now talking about economy, Monaco, Virgin Island, all these are some of the top. So I also show some statistic to them. This is hospital per bed. I'm talking about hospital per bed per this 1,000 capital, means 1,000 person. So where is Myanmar stand? Myanmar actually, Myanmar I believe is at the bottom. So Myanmar is actually only 1:1, 1.1. So that means Myanmar got 1.1 bed per 1,000 populations. So it's actually rather low. So Myanmar rank at 149. 149. This is at the bottom of the world. See, Myanmar do not have enough hospital. They do not have enough hospital. They do not have enough hospital bed in order to cater for their populations. So Myanmar actually rather low in terms of the facility, healthcare facilities. It's also it depends on occupancy rate and beds per population, as well as the critical care unit. Because why I showing this is the bed alone does not show the entire picture. We also need to see the occupancy rate, because some of country they have a lot of bed, but the occupancy rate is low. That means they provided a lot of beds, but the need actually, the demand actually not as much. And certain area is a lot, certain area is not. So it's a mismatch. Sometimes they will have a mismatch problem occurred. And then also there are also different beds. Some beds are critical care beds. That means those are in a very critical conditions. They need those special oxygen, oxygen supply and all that. So these are under CCR. And then there are some beds that are only catered for normal. You admit to hospital, not necessarily under critical care unit. Some of the beds are just normal. You're waiting for surgery and all that operation. So you live in a normal bed. So you also need to consider what type of bed provided and the occupancy rate. Myanmar government needs to gather relevant NGO and brief them about the current situation and ask for feedback from them. What is their preference and how Myanmar is going to overcome the challenges and achieve the world standard? Ask the NGO for feedback and let them participate in the process of shaping national policy. Only let the leader of the prominent NGO and specific field to attend. So this is actually for the more strategic input to the government policy. Now, on the policy making side, I'm not asking everyone to join in, because the more people join in, the more chaos it will create. The more messy it is. So when you talk to a high level, that means talk to say general secretary level or minister level, we only invite prominent NGO leaders. That means the president of some NGO, a president of some club or president of some associations to join the meeting. A meeting with the minister, not meeting a meeting with the minister or the general secretary. So this we do, of course, we do not open for the public, but we open for we have a line, apps or internet website for the general public to participate in the policy making. But in terms of the strategy to come out with the policy, I actually suggest the Myanmar government to talk to the NGO and to make sure Myanmar have enough data in order to formulate policy to be more effective target and provide for the people. So by right, every district must have enough school to cater for 100% of the populations, also must cater for special needs group, physical challenge or autism. Some of the of course, these are what I'm trying to say is that not only primary school have to be provided for free, of course, high school also must be provided at 100% coverage rate according to district. That means the government by right have to go to every district, ask for feedback whether, and of course also from the statistic, I hope the Myanmar government can ask the citizen to register. That means when somebody was born, born already, then they register the date, and then when they matured enough to attend primary school or kindergarten, they have to admit to the kindergarten, have to enroll, I would say, have to enroll to the kindergarten or primary school. So that is supposed to be by law compulsory to admit to enroll into a primary school. And then from there the government can collect data, how many percent already enroll into primary school and which location, which district. And if those districts that do not have enough school to cater for 100%, then government have to allocate fund to build school for the people, and also not only for the normal people, also for the physical challenge, those like handicapped, blind, deaf or mute people, and also for mental challenge people like those autism people. So please send people to collect data, how many people already reach maturity age for kindergarten, primary school and high school. Registered student in the school and send the record to the education ministry. Primary school is compulsory and shall be free for all. Secondary school must also try to be free. If possible, provide a free meal to encourage student attendance. How to achieve this? Myanmar can consider open farm or lease out farm to people. Set a portion of the harvest as lease rent and tax, then use it to feed school children, school students. Now this free meal program actually, I do not encourage just use the government money to feed the student. It is not how it works. Now what I'm suggesting is actually more like a Japan type of system where the parent have to provide, the parent have to pay the school some meal. But of course we set a portion because Myanmar, I believe, is a very poor country. So if the government can set a portion of this, because Myanmar have a lot of land that is unoccupied. So this land, if they rent out to farmers can, instead of paying the money, of course, farmers can also pay the lease rent, and a portion of this lease rent actually from the farmer actually can set to provide free meal to the student. But of course, I'm not suggesting to give 100% free. Student parents, that means the children's parent, also have to pay, say for example, some money for the lunch or the breakfast, and then the Myanmar government will provide a small portion, that means a minimum amount for the student. So at least, say for example, they can provide a bottle of milk or something like that, in order to achieve the minimum nutrition needs. And also, I will also encourage Myanmar government to get a nutritionist to cater for the student needs. Of course, I also hope the student can participate in the cooking, like what happened in Japan, so that Myanmar government do not need to hire cook. They can just let the student to participate in the cooking, and spend some money on the cookware and utensil, cutlery, and all that, but not on the labor force. And make sure country literacy rate at least 80% for secondary school and 95% for primary school. Now, of course, ideally it's 100%. Each district will have their own food recipe and proof by nutritionists. Now, why I say this is because food recipe, they might have their own local cuisine, but whether this cuisine is nutritious or not, we need to be approved by nutritionists. I have never tasted Myanmar food before. I used to work in construction site. Last time tasted a bit of Myanmar food. I do not really like it. But I know Myanmar is a very diverse, in terms of ethnicity, they are very diverse. So they might have a lot of variety of food, but this food have to be tested nutritious enough for the children. So I hope each district, if they have their own food recipe, it's best that they tested, let the nutritionist tested, that means okay or not. And this is actually for crime rate. Myanmar has 170 policemen over 100,000 population. It is number 22 from the bottom of the world. So this has to be a tally with the crime rate to be meaningful. Now this is a police per population. Police per population, so there is 170 police per 10,000 100,000 populations. So it is actually at the bottom of the world, but of course we need to tally with the crime rate. So Myanmar, we look at Myanmar, we see what is the crime rate. Myanmar is a 49th highest crime rate in the world, which is very high. Crime rate is a 51.5. That means 51.5 crime over 100,000, over 10,000. I think it's 10,000 population per 10,000 populations. So there is quite a high population in comparison. It is actually one of the highest crime rate in the world. Yeah, see, one of the highest crime rate. Homicide rate is 1,394 per 100,000 population. Is ranked at 35 in the world. So 35 highest, homicide is 35 highest in the world. The highest is Brazil, then followed by India, Nigeria, Mexico, South Africa, United States, Colombia, Russia, Pakistan, Ecuador, Ethiopia, China, Iraq, Philippines, Haiti, Uganda, Guatemala, Bangladesh, Venezuela, Honduras, blah 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 blah, all the way. So Myanmar is 35 highest. 35 highest. These are all the bad indicators about Myanmar. There are about 195 countries in the world, and Myanmar homicide rate is ranked at 35, meaning the rest of 160 countries in the world are better than Myanmar. Myanmar ranked 49 highest crime rate, implied 149 other countries have a lower crime rate than Myanmar. So all these indicators are bad signs for foreign investor. Myanmar needs to improve safety, healthcare, and education level. Also must have international culture, such as international restaurant and supermarket selling products from more diverse country. Public infrastructure and communication networks and coverage must be good in order for foreign investors to come and adapt to the Myanmar environment, target Chinese, Arab, Western, and ASEAN people. Myanmar must have restaurants serving the Middle East, Chinese, Western, and ASEAN cuisine, also supermarkets selling products for their needs. So they need to create an environment for foreigner to come in, to do business, to set up factory and all that. Japanese and Korean are very active investing in developing country. Having a good relationship with them is good for foreign direct investment (FDI). Railway connecting to Thailand, India, and China will help to boost trade between these countries. This will also cut down transportation costs, thus the cost of doing business in Myanmar. Now, Myanmar is bordering Thailand, India, and China. So if can connect to these three countries, then it will help a lot in trading, because railway is the cheapest form of transportation, whether for passenger or cargo. Aside for the sea freight, because sea freight is another story. Sea freight can be trade with any country in the world. So Myanmar also have many islands that have not yet to develop. So these are potential tourist hotspot. Myanmar can build airport and ferries for this island near the coastal area, and also develop fishing industry. Start making Myanmar own fabric, chemicals, battery, furniture, food products, tractors, bicycles, motorcycles, and car. Set a target for each of these items, then come up with budget and strategy to achieve it. Let the people participate in the process. Set a target for recycling waste. Clean and proper sanitation facilities for all. Make sure everyone has access to proper toilet. So Myanmar literacy rate for this 2019, that means before COVID. So before COVID was 89%, 13.45 increase from 2016. So literacy rate in 2016 was 75.55. It actually declined a bit from 2000, but it slightly increased before COVID. So literacy rate is decline is a bad sign, and also international school, international cuisine. This I mentioned before. English language for communication, public infrastructure, electricity, water, blah blah blah. And also to promote Myanmar can target certain industry and approach them. Use embassy as a platform to attract investor. Now there are also one thing called this commerce or chamber. Myanmar can also encourage private entity to set up commerce or chamber of commerce. I think it's called chamber of commerce, to set up chamber of commerce in the world. There are many countries that can set up in Europe, in US, in China, even in ASEAN country, in Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines. Set up this chamber of commerce and then encourage trading between the countries. And set up language school for your agent, that means tour agent. So they must be able to speak different languages, boost Myanmar tourism, and improve transportation system. This will boost the tourism and cut off the red tape. That means red tape too bureaucratic is not good. Myanmar want to appear as a friendly country. Teach people to smile, be courteous and polite to tourists. This is a mobile coverage with 90%. 4G availability faces significant restrictions, including social media, slow speed, censorship, and all that, political instability. So these are actually the problem that Myanmar government need to consider whether to remove it, so that in terms of when it comes to communications, internet. So talk to Myanmar rebel groups to reconcile and focus on economy development. I hope Myanmar government or this government in Naypyidaw can talk to others group like the Shan group, the Kachin and all that. Talk to them and then see whether can reconcile or not. If can reconcile, focus on economy development, then can sit down and to see what are the things that can do together and work with NGO in providing social welfare such as orphanage and all that. Center for the Blind, Kidney Dialysis Center, Handicap Center, job matching and all that I mentioned before. I create a foundation for retired military personnel, veteran, an organization for military members, establish business for them to run and to be self-sufficient. This is electrifications. Now only 44% are electrified. This is rather low for this. I think a better. Switch off the light. So these are actually rather low for a developing country. Now coal is 2%, oil is 0.3%, most of it is natural gas is 41%, hydro is 56%. Most of the demand come from industry, 32%, commercial only 15%, residential 28%. So this is the profile. Now they also have biomass. So the consumptions per capita is rather low. I think it's only 300 kilowatt per capita. So that is very low compared to other countries. Now for Thailand, I think it's 3,000. So it's 10 times more compared to Myanmar. That means a person in Thailand consume 10 times more electricity compared to a person in Myanmar. So still have a long way to achieve 100% electricity coverage. So these are my suggestions for the hotel, and I'm actually staying in this hotel in somewhere near Kaosan Road, and I asked them to take out a cleaning course. This is actually a free online course, Diploma in British Cleaning Certification Award, because I'm not clean actually. So I asked them to please sort out my citizenship matter immediately. I will arrange my own property and I do not need people to manage on my behalf. If the hotel is mine, please ask Yutong mothers to come and ask me. Okay. So I need to settle down and continue my life. So I also suggested to Yutong's mother to allow Myanmar main opposition party to participate in politics, release Aung San Suu Kyi and encourage foreign investment in Myanmar. If Myanmar want to have economic growth, then Myanmar junta government must open up. What is the point of holding power if the entire country is on regressions, economy collapse and people living in fear? So if Myanmar want to have economic growth and social development, then it must release the democratic leader Aung San Suu Kyi, let parliament fully run by democratic elect people's representative. The military does not need to interfere with politics, only perform their job, which are to protect the sovereignty. In return, the army general can guarantee economy development and love and respect from the people. There is no reason for military to hold power while the entire country fall behind. Myanmar military will enjoy a much better life if the country economy grows healthily. Singapore, for example, is a democratic country where corruption is a compound. With conscription is compulsory, military enjoy a good life and literally do nothing other than routine patrol. Economic growth is key for a good life for everyone. The Tan family is closely related to society. Okay, there's no need for military to hold power. The Western country need to find out who is Tan. This is my father. So my suggestion for Myanmar is to release Aung San Suu Kyi, allow opposition party to participate in government, do not need to hold another elections. The general can hold the president positions until the tenure ends, but invite other political parties in the parliament for policy and lawmaking. I will help Yutong's father if he is willing to release Aung San Suu Kyi and allow opposition leader to participate in the government, not the parliament but the government itself. When his tenure is end, then return the power to civilian leaders. During his tenure, I will help him to repel Rohingya and establish democracy, open up the market, grow the tourism industry, industrial estate, building school, establish proper syllabus recognized worldwide, improve the transportation system, improve finance and currency. After his tenure, he must hand over the power to civilians. Do not take bribe from my parents and know that. So Myanmar water consumption is below world average, but the water supply only 60%. A large percentage of water, which is 89%, is catered for agriculture. So only 5% of the water resources is used. 89% actually for agriculture. Access to drinking water only 60%. About 60% of our population uses safe managed drinking water service. Rural area is about 50.4% of rural population access to basic drinking water. So that is very low. Water usage, majority of water, 89% for agriculture. Please tell Yutong grandfather only need to recruit those opposition party member into the government for this term and only those who have caliber, because this is actually a conflict of interest. By right, they should be given opportunity to participate in the elections. To appoint them into a government is because they have the patience to serve the country, but it is a conflict of interest because the opposition should be criticizing the government for highlighting I think it's called not for highlighting the blind spot, by highlighting the blind spot. Give them some middle rank positions, but enough for them to contribute to the country. Tell them explicitly their positions will only be valid for this term and it is subject to their performance. Now the reason why I have to give these oppositions parties member some position in the government is because I believe in a democratic system. A true democratic system, the opposition by right is supposed to be able given opportunity to participate in the elections, but to give them a position in the government is to let them have a taste or to feel how a government operate, and then the next term do not need to give them position anymore. That should relinquish from the position and participate in the elections. Now, if they win the election, they can form a government and be the government themselves. So the very reason why democracy is good is because oppositions can bring out the flaws and problems of government in the parliament, so that the country can improve and not blindly believe they are perfect. So this is also why it is a conflict of interest, because if you recruit the opposition into a government, then literally there is no opposition, because the opposition also become a government. So by right, these opposition's party members supposed to give them opportunity to participate in the election. So when they win the election, only let them become the government. They mean appoint them some positions in the government. So opposition role are not to attack the government blindly. They are supposed to act in favor of the country, the people, not blindly attacking the government for no reason. Everything they say must be backed up by facts and figure, not emotion alone. So next term, allow them to participate in election. Make sure all parties are acting in favor of the country, whether government or opposition. Oppositions may bring out issues to the government and also critique about some policy that is not right, but the government is the one who has the power to make decisions because they are mandated by the people. So that's why in a democratic country, it is the government. That means those who won the majority of the during the elections form the government and become the government that have the power to decide how the government operate, what are the directions, or where is the direction of the government, the country heading. But opposition also may bring out some issues. They may also critique some of the policy the government introduced. So I will help Myanmar to thrive and resolve economy and public infrastructure issues. We should be friends with China, Russia, but also not neglect the USA, UK, and Europe. Myanmar should be friends with everyone. Fight crime. First, must have a crime prevention program. From crime prevention program, fight crime prevention through environmental design to deploying active and passive measures to curb crime. I was involved in a crime prevention program, so I know a bit. Now, crime prevention through built environment design is actually within the built environment discipline, but fighting crime is a total different professions. I believe need to study criminology and policing and all that, which is a totally different professions. But crime prevention through environmental design, they do give some insight on how to prevent crime, especially when it comes to building or town planning. So for those wise activities like casino, drugs, brothel, scam center and all that, police need to beef up their strength and equip them with technology, weapons to curb this illicit business, and to seize their property and money, use that to create micro loan for people. Beware of my grandfather and parents. They are trying to tarnish my image and undermine me. They are enslaving me. Please free me from their claws. So instead of planting opium, cannabis, and other type of drugs, please plant hemp, cotton, cacao, tea, coffee, tobacco, agarwood, sugarcane, palm oil. These are equally profitable, and many of them are addictive but not causing health problems. Food such as coffee, tea, and sugar is highly addictive, but they are not a threat to health. In fact, they are beneficial if they consume the right amount. Help me to fight back my inheritance and detach. Okay. Do not mix with the okay. They do not. Okay, I believe. So these are some of the things that I wrote to Yutong's mother that concerning my family. I will explore Myanmar and help to reconcile with the rebel group. So I intend to go around Myanmar and to, if possible, talk to the rebel group and to reconcile. Myanmar needs to be united in order to build up the country. I can also divert some businesses in Singapore from casino to supermarket and help Myanmar sell their agriculture market products. This is a way so I also probably can copy some of the good things. Like for example, Singapore have Conquest, and the Conquest actually copy from Japan, and Malaysia have Q-Lasik. Q-Lasik actually copy from Singapore Conquest. So all these are the same. They are just copying each other. So we might also copy the quality standard, the construction quality assessment system. To industrialize, Myanmar needs to be friends with China, Japan, USA, Korea, Netherlands, Germany, France, and Italy, and Switzerland. All these are already industrialized, and they can be helpful to transfer knowledge to Myanmar. Connect the railway with Thailand first. The Kwai River projects is famous. We can revive it, and it could be have a lot of tourism and use tourism money to offset. Actually, this Dawei port to Bangkok, this project actually quite some time. Actually, a joint venture between Italy and Thailand. So these are some of the planning. Dawei is actually in Myanmar and Bangkok in Thailand. Between them is 260 km. So if we were to build this at a speed of 120 with five stations stop, and each stop is 12 minutes, then the total journey is about 3 hours. So it's very short. Compared to this Malangin to this another way is use Sawang Kalok, which is located in Sukhothai, to Mesot, and then later Mesot to this Maulangin. So take about also about 3 hours plus but of course I need to connect to Thailand. So together it's about 8 hours plus if to connect go by the way. So another way is 285 km. This is Pisanulok. Connect Pisanulok to Tak and Tak to Mesok, which is near Myawaddy. Myawaddy is on the Myanmar side, and to Maulamyin. So about 300 km. This will take about 3 hours and 30 minutes from Pisanulok to Maulamyin. But don't forget, from Bangkok to Pisanulok is another 6 hours. So Bangkok to Pisanulok is about 6 hours, and this is not so good compared to the bus, because there is still 2 hours to Mesot and by train. Then it will be about the same as bus. So Bangkok to Dawei Railway has more priority than this. So this is actually talking about the speed now. The normal speed railway speed is about 90 km per hour, but Myanmar is only 25. So Myanmar really need to improve on the speed, the railway speed. So nowadays the train speed can go up to 600 kilometer per hour. So these are the countries, like France. I think the top is Japan. Top 3 is Japan, and then France, and then China. So it's basically between Japan, France, and China. This UK also have one, which is the by Alstom Eurostar. This is connecting to France. So Myanmar at least need to target 250 km for high-speed rail, and then normal passenger about 80, about 120, and then for cargo is about 80. So we must go to China and try on their latest high-speed rail, and then Japan, France, to learn from them. So both Dawei and Maulamyin have good railway to connect. To Thailand, and it's good for both. So these are some of the key indicators of Myanmar. Population is about 55.7 million populations. GDP is about $273 billion. Per capita is 4,950. GDP per capita is 1,110. So it's ranked as 164 out of 195. So it's actually at the bottom of the world for GDP per capita. So this is Myanmar, and the time zone is UTC plus 6 hour and 6 hour and 30 minutes. Calling code is plus 95. Largest city is in Yangon. Capital is Naypyidaw. Official language is Burmese. I think the majority of the ethnic is Burma, which is 68.78%. Next is Karen, 6.69%, and then Rakhine is 4.61%, followed by Shan, 4.51%, then Hmong, 2.19%, Chin is 2.09%, Kachin is 1.5%, and then Karenni is 0.39%. A majority of them are Buddhism, which is 87.9%, and then Christian consists of 6.2%, which is out of this 4.91% are Protestant and 1.29% are Catholic. Islam is about 4.3%. So the growth rate actually is about 8 to 7%. That is prior to the COVID. Majority, so this is majority foreign investment in Myanmar by country. So majority is China, followed by Singapore, and then Thailand, Hong Kong. So these are the 4 main countries that invest in Myanmar. So by sector, oil and gas is the most. Oil and gas, and followed by the power, and then transportation, communication, and then manufacturing. So these are the big four sector. So foreign investment in Myanmar, I think I think in 2010 is the highest, and then somehow they drop, I think more than 90%. So majority of export is natural gas, and then others government also textile. So Myanmar majority export destination by country. Majority export to China, so 41% export is to China, and then Thailand is 26%. Then India, Japan, and Singapore. So China is still the biggest. Almost half of the export go to China. And Myanmar import by sector. So these are the GDP. GDP, as mentioned just now, this is a GDP nominal per capita. Myanmar, I think, is at the bottom. It's only 1,005, 1,000 plus. Rank at 164 is actually at the bottom of the world. This is the highest. Monaco, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Bermuda, Ireland, Switzerland, Iceland, Singapore, Norway, Cayman Islands, and all that. These are the top of the world for GDP per capita. This is the medium. Out of 100, this is the medium. Medium means somewhere in the middle. So out of this, Turkmenistan and New Macedonia, this is actually mid. So it's a medium mode. So this is mid. Mid is in the middle. And then the world average. The world average GDP per capita is set at 15,680. So 15,680. So it's actually more than 10 times of Myanmar GDP per capita. See, world medium GDP per capita is 15,680. So it's 10 times, 10.7 times of Myanmar. And the average is 19,439, which is 13 times more than Myanmar. So this is a huge gap for Myanmar just to meet the medium and average of the world GDP per capita. So there is a huge problem for Myanmar to cope such a huge gap. So Myanmar target should be at the world medium, and this it will probably take 20 years to achieve. Of course, there are many factors such as total populations, geographical features and countries, culture, education level, political stability, and so on. So we are talking about GDP per capita. So of course, ultimately we want to be achieve top 10, but now achieve above world median. The priority now is to achieve world median. So please have regular maintenance and keep all the fake plants and real plants. These are for hotel. Yutong's mother, please come out to talk. This. Hotel management is not about putting someone in a hotel without knowledge about anything. You need to come out. You need to know many things to operate hotel. Otherwise, hotel will be in run.
雨桐的妈妈，雨桐的妈妈，我有些东西想跟你讲，就是如果那个酒店是我的，或者是你的啦，如果
this is about hotel. There are some problem in the hotel. You say expire fire extinguisher and all that. So these are some of the issues in the hotel I live in. I'm not sure whether it's mine or not, so it's not really that important. Come back to this problem. Mexico is above world medium GDP per capita, which is 15,779 US dollars per capita. So the medium is 15,680. So it's slightly around there. I would say slightly above the world medium for GDP per capita. So it ranked at 71 in the world, meaning it is above 124 countries, which is a top one-third of the world ranking, meaning the disparity of wealth in this world is also quite huge. We can also work together to make a better living, temporarily put down the ego and differences. We can reach our common goal, which is to fight poverty and end hunger. So I will help you, Yutong's mother, and your father. I'm not perfect. I will listen. I will also listen to professional view. Set up a meeting, time, date. I will recruit my own staff, not Myanmar. This is about hotel things, not about country.
Hello, this is Sebastian Griffin Teh Kian Guan. I would also want to make myself clear that it is not as simple as straight away liquidate whatever asset I have in Singapore and Malaysia and then transfer it elsewhere in the world. Definitely, I want to help Myanmar, but it is not as simple as just liquidate whatever asset I have and then transfer to Myanmar. It will not be fruitful. It will not be viable. It will also not help Myanmar significantly. First of all, Myanmar is having economy sanctions by the United Nations. So what does it mean? Is that the world actually there are some blockade. That means there are some blockade economically that imposed on the Myanmar. So the best way to go about this is to, in fact, I will also encourage Myanmar to invest a bit of their wealth, because if Myanmar generate enough money, then the money, if they want to keep on generate money, they can create a sovereign fund and invest in other countries that have better return. Say for example, if you invest 1 billion in Myanmar, if the return is less than 0.1%, then you might as well invest the same amount of money, 1 billion, say that the same amount of money in Singapore or elsewhere in Singapore, Hong Kong, or other countries that are more, they have higher return. This is exactly what Brunei is doing. Brunei is oil-rich country. It's a very oil-rich country, but the problem with Brunei is that they do not have economy activities that grow their, not enough economic activity to grow their fund, their sovereign fund. So what they do is that they invest the money in elsewhere, in US, in UK, in elsewhere in the world, in Middle East, in order to have higher return. That means higher profit from the venture. This is actually a state-owned company. I'm taking Brunei for example. So what Brunei do is that the Sultan of Brunei actually use the money from oil and gas and invest in many other countries. So that is what the Brunei doing. Of course, I'm not a public entity. I'm a private entity. So what I will do is that those assets in Singapore, I will still keep in Singapore, but of course, I will change. I will definitely divert out from the existing business to other business, and I will have to go to Singapore and have a look first, and I talk to Singapore government how to go about this, and then I will also need to probably invest a bit in Myanmar, of course. So where can I get the money to invest in Myanmar? Now my money, I believe asset in Malaysia. I will use the asset in Malaysia to invest in Myanmar and elsewhere, in Myanmar, in Hong Kong, in China, in UK. I believe they have more assets or more property as well as money in Malaysia than in Singapore. So I can use that money to invest in Myanmar. So do not need to touch on the Singapore assets. I can just liquidate whatever in Malaysia. Now as for Malaysia, I will definitely talk to UK about how to settle Malaysia problem. There are problems concerning the sovereignty. There are problems concerning the politics, the constitution, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of things, a lot of problem in Malaysia. So I really need the British side to come and talk to me, because I've been writing to them. I do not know what is they've never replied to me. They are now also behaving like a communist, or like a Junta government. That you guys are very afraid of replying or to take responsibility for your matter, matter concerning yourself or your country. I do not know what happened to UK. There are many people told me UK is a sunset country, meaning that it's going down economically and also military power and whatever. So I do not know. I do not care about whether it's sunset or sunrise. I do not know. But what I know is that if the matter concerning UK, then I have to bring up to UK and help, and I hope that UK can resolve the problem. Now, if UK cannot resolve the problem, then Australia, Canada, all these countries that related to the UK or the Commonwealth country, I would say Commonwealth country, or those international community within United Nations have to step in and resolve the problem, have to address the problem. So that is my concern. Now for Myanmar, of course, I hope Myanmar is on the right course, on the right direction, where it's moving toward democracy. I'm not saying democracy is perfect. Democracy have their own problems, have their own flaws. Malaysia, for example, Malaysia elected a prime minister that having corruptions, sodomy, rape men and women, all this track record, all this crime record, not only convicted but also was imprisoned for the crime, but yet still can be elected as a prime minister. So I really do not know how Malaysia works. Malaysia is an Islamic country, but yet they can elect a prime minister, a leader that have a track record in gay sex, and not only gay sex but rape people, rape men and corruptions. So this is the problem with democracy. It's just based on popularity, not based on logic. There is no logic for any countries or for anyone for the matter to elect somebody that come with so many string of crime record as a premier for a country. But of course, I do not want to talk about political system over here. But what I'm trying to tell you is that we not necessarily liquidate all the assets and then transfer to Myanmar. It is not how it works. Because within Myanmar itself, Myanmar also need to invest a little bit of money elsewhere to make sure if the economy collapses, Myanmar still have ways, still have channels to generate income. Because you cannot put all your eggs in one basket. You have to divert out, you have to diversify. Of course, not very diverse, but you have to invest strategically to a country that you feel safe. Singapore is a good location because Singapore is not very, it's a very neutral country. Singapore is good with the Chinese, the communists. Also, they are very good with the US, the democratic side, the democracy system. So, Singapore is a very strategic country for Myanmar to invest in. And of course, Hong Kong also. Hong Kong is the next best country, I would say. It is a democratic country, but at the same time, it is also China. It is also part of China, which is a rule actually owned by a communist. So in a way, Hong Kong also quite a strategic locations. And in fact, Hong Kong and Singapore, they are the biggest trade partner with Myanmar. So they are very strategic, whether in terms of relationship or also geographically, it is also close to Myanmar. So this is a very strategic locations for investment, for Myanmar to invest in. Now as for Malaysia, Malaysia actually also very strategic, but not for me personally, because I offended so many sultan and also offended some of the politicians. So I'm actually not having a very bad relationship with the Malaysia government. So in that sense, for me to have property or asset in Malaysia is not strategic for me personally, not for Myanmar. Myanmar probably can have some form of some investment in Malaysia, but definitely not me myself, because I have to resolve a lot of problems in Malaysia that concerning the sovereignty, concerning the government, concerning the political system, and so on and so forth. So for me myself, Malaysia is not an ideal country to invest in, but Singapore, yes. The only problem for me is my father's side of the family, the Tan family, where they have a lot of influence, they have a lot of, I would say, leeway. They have a lot of leeway in Singapore. They can commit crime with impunity. So that is the problem for me in Singapore, that I will need to sit down with the government to address all these issues. Now, if Singapore can guarantee me they can protect me and also have fair protection, does not mean that they protect me against everything. Now, if I committed crime, then Singapore government have the right to enforce the law, to implement the law, to enforce the law. My protection here means the Singapore government have to protect me against those scam or those those scam put by my father's side of the family, and they are very influential in a way. They have police, they have a high-ranking police officer, they have high-ranking military working in Singapore. So in that sense, it is not favorable to me, because within Singapore government there are so many people from the Tan family side already infiltrated into Singapore very deeply. I would say they are already infused into the Singapore government. Many layers of Singapore government, including the law enforcement. So in that sense, I really need the Singapore government assurance that they need to be impartial when it comes to enforcing the law. So that way I can feel secure, I can feel safe to do business in Singapore. And of course, I will also divert out my asset or my business to another type of business. Definitely not the same business. So this is Singapore. And I do not know what the situation in UK. I have to go to have a look at UK. Now, if I were to confiscate, if I were to seize the property and also business in UK that belong to me, and also that belong to me that now is Genting, so I will definitely need to see what are the business. I will need to talk to the government, what kind of direction, which directions the government is heading into, so that I will not have conflict with the government. So if say for example, if UK government, the British government is working toward technology side, then I might as well divert those casino into technology oriented business that align with government objective or agenda. Now previously there has an initiative called Oxcam. That means Oxford to Cambridge. There is a link Oxford to Cambridge. Along these two cities, they wanted to develop a Silicon Valley, sort of like a Silicon Valley but in UK. That was before COVID, but after COVID, it seems like the government already changed their mind. So I really do not know what is the new initiative or any new projects or any new program the UK government is coming up with. I am willing to go in line with the government objective. Now, of course, I also have some ideas and some business that I would invest in the UK. For example, probably create some township, probably create some township or some build some houses for those MBO. To rent out to those MBO, not sell to them, but to rent out to them, so that they have accommodations. But of course, this is purely because we are all Chinese. I'm not encouraging people to migrate out from this Hong Kong or China. I do not encourage myself is migrate back to China if given opportunity. So that depends how the things turn out to be. Now, well, I need to sit down with you and to see how we go about this, about my citizenship, whether to take up citizenship in Hong Kong or elsewhere. So that is my, but definitely I think Singapore will be not at the moment, because Singapore right now, I really do not know who is with the Tan family. I only know they got police under them, they got military, military personnel under them. So these two armed force uniform, department or agency is under them, under their control or influence. So that this alone is really unfavorable for me to be in Singapore, because these two agency, police and also the army and probably even the immigration department will make me, because Singapore right now, I really do not know who is with the Tan family. I only know they got police under them, they got military, military personnel under them. So these two armed force uniform, department or agency is under them, under their control or influence. So that this alone is really unfavorable for me to be in Singapore, because these two agency, police and also the army and probably even the immigration department will make my life very difficult. So definitely I cannot take up citizenship in Singapore as of now. They have a lot of people there, so
So this was a message sent to me by this is Myanmar electricity consumption per capita is low compared to Asian peers. Now only 300 to 400 kilowatt kilowatt hour per person annually, and the infrastructure is about 76.8% of population have access to electricity. So not really 100%. So these are the electricity consumption, power consumption. It peaked at 2020 and then dropped slightly. I'm not sure whether due to COVID or what. So good trend, because it will actually go in tandem with the economy, except during COVID it's dropped slightly. So total consumption reached 23.62 billion kilowatt hour 2023, and per capita consumption is about 307 kilowatt hour. Electrification's rate is only 76.8% of household had electricity access in 2023. So I did a bit of calculation. Myanmar need 30.75 billion kilowatt hour to achieve 100% electrification coverage. So it's another 7.13 billion kilowatt hour. So Myanmar need to build power station. I think a few more power station to cater for to achieve 100%. So we also need to factor in future needs, and because electricity demand is growing in tandem with economy and also population. So this is on the basis of 307 kilowatt hour per population per capita. So if the economy grow more than what it is right now, and also population also grow, so I believe this 7.13 billion kilowatt hour is not enough. This is based on the year 2023, so it's 3 years ago. So set up an agency to address the issues, and we can introduce feed-in tariff on NEM. NEM actually stand for net electricity electric metering. For photovoltaic, wind turbine and other renewable energy, this can resolve electricity coverage in rural areas problem. So these are GDP per capita. Those that darker color are actually richer. You see, like in
Bangkok or in Thailand area is more than 3,000 US dollars. But in this area, in the entire Myanmar, we can see is probably it's less than 500 US dollars. The most is 1,000, somewhere near Mandalay and also Rangoon area is about 1,000 US dollars per capita. This is engineer per population per registered engineer. For those developed countries like Norway, Finland, Denmark, and Canada, these are less than 200 population per registered engineer. So that meaning they have more engineers per populations. The idea or the benchmark is approximately one engineer for 100 people. That is the ratio for developed and developing country. Developed country, I think some developed country may aim for 1 to 100 ratio. These are engineers. So when look at Myanmar engineers to population ratio is about 4,262. So spread across 54.5 million population. So the 12,785 engineers. So the ratio is about 4,000 plus. So Myanmar actually need to, if we to compare with the developed country, Myanmar need to work at least another 20 times. That means the population, the total number of engineers need to increase 20 times in order to meet the basic, the standard, the minimum requirement.